Oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's how we start. So,
Hey, I feel like I've listened to this enough where I haven't heard that part.
well, that's the audio clip, right? They see the clipping in the they're starting. So they when they go to edit it, they see
after
it.
the music.
That's right. Yeah. So, well, you're back.
Yeah.
Your first time. It's your first time, Michael.
My first, yeah.
Thought I'd bring them along.
Little Michael Tran and Cody Payne action.
Yeah. Figure we'd come see what's up with you guys.
Yeah. Well, more like what's up with you guys? Y'all made a big move.
Y'all did too. This table used to be over here, and now it's over here.
Yeah, it took a lot of thinking and processing.
Actually, I like it better here.
Yeah, this is a better setup
yeah.
for sure. So,
But yeah, no, we made a move. It's something we've been working on. It's something we've been wanting to do for a long time.
yeah.
And I think it just fits our team and our personality a little bit better, so we can kind of branch out and do a few more things.
So, was that an existing group, or is this y'all's whole new thing, or?
So this is kind of a whole new thing, and but we actually brought back some folks that were with us in the past. So
Okay.
I don't know if you may have known Wayne Bears, you may have Will. I mean, maybe it sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar.
So him and I, we worked together back at Marcus and Millichap.
Okay.
We worked together for a long time. He came over to Collier's and ended up leaving. And he was a guy that has been a good friend of mine for a long time and has helped me out with a lot of stuff and vice versa. And so we were able to actually rejoin with him and some other people. And so it's working out really, really good, and just something that I've always wanted to do. And
Yeah.
I think it's good because it puts, Tranny Boy here in Austin and Jacob and that's his nickname.
That was my
Sorry.
nickname.
puts all them in a good position of leadership as well. And
Yeah.
and I feel like in life you need to have as much pressure on you as possible, and
Yeah.
give yourself the avenue to make the most out of yourself. And as long as if you fail, you got nobody else to blame but yourself.
Right.
And so obviously nobody here is going to fail or anything, but I just like being in that position. And David Dunn a long time ago, who you and I have talked about, he hired me a long time ago and kind of put me in a good position. Just like, hey, you go figure it out and stay out of the big box industrial stuff where I rule, and and just rock and roll. And so I think they're kind of in a similar position. But no, it's good. We've got great collaboration. We all work together very well, and a lot of people don't know we hang out all the time after work and stuff like that. Not as much anymore. We all have kids now, so
That's pretty cool though. Y'all got a pretty good tight little team. That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, but what's funny is we all have kids. They're all boys too.
Yeah.
Austin as well, and
Tranny, you got a boy?
yeah,
I got a boy somehow.
turns a year
Lucky
old
me.
next month, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
1 year.
that.
Yep. I
Congrats.
think we didn't plan this, but I think we all like decommissioned our office and took out like half the energy in the office with all of us having kids within like
Definitely did that.
7 months
Yeah.
of each other, and then we're like making up for this guy being out, or
Yeah.
oh, I've got what are those appointments you got to do where it's like the 48 hour, then the 1 week, and then the 2
Yeah.
week. That was the worst, I think.
All your time. Yeah, you hit all the times, and you got to go. You got to go, especially on the first one.
Or you're not like the good supportive husband, father, you know.
Just hear about it.
Yeah.
So flex parks.
Yeah.
Now that's no more office.
So no, we still do plenty of office. I mean,
Okay.
it's something that we've always done. The office sector is not in the best position, and so it is a sector that at one point had a lot of brokers in it.
Yeah.
A lot of those folks have dissipated and all gone to
Sure.
industrial, retail, or some of that nature. So there's still a good avenue there for us. There's still a lot of consistent buyers in there for us as well. So that's something that we don't drop off.
Yeah.
But we don't really stray too much out of that, and mostly on the small bay side is where we're making, I think, the most impact.
Well, I mean, you wrote a book on it. So,
Yeah.
That's
Nobody thought I could read, and
Yeah.
nonetheless, we were able to do a book. So.
Well, that seems. I mean, y'all seem to be out like. It seems like every 2 to 3 weeks, I feel like y'all are at a different show, and y'all are really kind of becoming the authority in that space.
Yeah, we're trying,
Yeah.
and you got to do that stuff to do it consistent. It's like a sport. I mean, consistency is going to be key to victory on any of it. And,
Yeah.
the brokerage industry, if you leave for 6 months or 8 months, a year, I mean, you're pretty much restarting. Nobody waits for you, and
Right.
And so
You could have a baby and they would not wait on you.
Yeah.
exactly.
Legit.
Yeah.
So I was I was doing a podcast when Everett was getting born. So, but
No days off.
yeah, but no, that's I mean, yeah, I mean, there's but also the space is growing, as you know. I mean, you know better than anybody. 10, 15, 20 years ago, the space was nothing.
Yeah.
And now there's so many things being created for it, so many little courses and events and expos being created for it that were just never around. There's 2 new ones going on this year that we're going to that have never been done before. And so we just want to be at the forefront of as much of it as possible to collect as many, buyers, sellers, entrepreneurs, developers, whoever we can in the space to try to help out as much as possible.
I feel like y'all are kind of like, I feel like Small Bay's like lagging the iOS craze about 2 years behind, and it's starting to really.
Probably, yeah.
I'll tell you though why. I don't think you'll ever hit peak institutional frenzy is because the metal thing, they can't get over it yet.
I think they're going to get over
Yeah,
it.
they're
do?
over it, yeah.
They're going to
Okay.
get over it.
They're clogging up too much infill, and so much infill everywhere, in my opinion, has already been traded so many times.
Sure.
And it's just at its peak, and someone will still buy it at it, and it's just kind of sitting there. And, the CapEx and the capital involved in reoccurring, leases and stuff like that on infill stuff, that stuff usually carries a little bit more office traditionally as well. But, I mean, I think it's just a matter of time because they were kind of in the similar boat in self-storage a long time ago, too. They didn't like the junky metal in tertiary markets.
Yeah.
And so, and the reason I think that they will is because you have other private equity firms and people like this that wouldn't look in secondary markets, wouldn't look at metal, and now we're selling those guys metal in secondary markets. So as those parameters expand, I think the institutions will as well, but it'll probably be very niche specific. But I think they'll look at metal. If it's infill, they'll look at metal.
I got to think. I think that's stemming from, we kind of had a call yesterday with the institution, and they were looking at a lot of our iOS stuff, and we're like, well, what about Small Bay? They go, oh, yeah, we'd love Small Bay. We're like, metal's cool, right? They're like, oh, no, we can't do metal. But it's like, but you'll buy iOS metal all day long? Like,
We were joking with them on that. Or like, it's the same metal building, just more yard.
yeah, what's the difference? And then, it's, I think those guys are yield whores, man.
Yeah.
That's all they are. They're going to go chase yield. And then, literally when once someone deems it really safe, then it's kind of ball game. They're all in.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're trying to deem it safe. And,
Hold,
and
wait
so-
a little
yeah.
bit more. Give us another 24 months.
But what's funny
you got
is
2 years.
You get two
You got
year
2 years of
runway.
aggregation.
But what's funny is like we beat our heads because people send us iOS stuff all the time. We don't deal in any iOS, but I mean we look at that and we're just I don't see what other people see in it, and maybe it's the investments that I've seen because somebody sent me something down in Lancaster, and I look at it as like, okay, if this tenant's not there, you're buying this land for $20 a foot. If this tenant's not there, that land's worth maybe $2.
It has its trade offs. That's any single tenant building,
Yeah.
right? It's that's why you got to kind of have a group of them to absorb those things. But once you do get them in there, they're very sticky. They don't call you, so the management of it all's a lot different.
Yeah.
What's your average lease term on these iOS guys?
5 years, if not more.
Yeah.
What's the renewal probability? Do you know? Is it high? Is it
It's
70s,
pretty
80s?
high.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very rare to get a dark one back.
If they go dark, it's because the building's no longer functional, or they're going to buy their own site, or they got acquired and they're
Getting consumed.
they're getting consumed or going out of business. Those are the 3 reasons.
Gotcha. Okay.
But then they just charge based on the building and then just the land separate?
It's
Is it mixed?
it's all over the place. It's I think the lease will be written such that it's a number to the building footprint, but there's a methodology to the pricing that comes into play with the actual yard that's available of usable acreage.
Gotcha. Because we've been helping a lot more on the developer side where these guys are buying 15, 20 acres, and they're like, hey, we've got, phase 1 and 2, that'll be Small Bay. We have 15 acres here. What do we do?
Yeah.
And they're like, what about this iOS stuff we keep hearing that's sexy? And we're like, well, you can build more square footage and still do like the side yards, which we preach pretty often, but having to coach these guys, okay, do you want more buildable? Do you want less management? What do you guys want from, the developer side when you're building these, and how management intensive is it compared to your regular small bay?
Yeah, but also it's not as easy as some of them think, where they're like, oh, we got land, you just drive back there, and it's an iOS site. And it's just not as easy as that. I don't know if you really even want those kind of vehicles traveling through your park anyways.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, but it's something that a lot of people do approach us all the time. And, we're like, look, if you can make an independent site for it next to it, just like storage guys, right? Storage guys, they're notorious for trying to build a small bay park and a storage facility all in one.
Yeah.
And those are some of the more difficult investments to sell. And it's not that they're hard, they just don't bring the highest paying buyer, because your highest paying small bay buyers don't want storage, your highest paying storage buyers don't want small bay.
Yeah.
And so we tell them the same thing on that iOS stuff is, if you're going to do it, just don't mix it.
Yeah. We got hung with a storage facility.
Yeah.
It was a lot of pain in the ass in the beginning, but I mean, we were buying a park and you had to buy the storage facility with the park. So we just took it. Owning that storage facility in no way made me want to go get into storage.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. We were looking at parting it out, but that's when it was giving us a bunch of trouble. Now it's pretty smooth. So
Well, I'll tell you the benefits of storage, because I had a boat and RV facility that I built out there in Weatherford, and the only thing that I do like about storage that I think institutions and a lot of people do like is, your capital investment when a tenant leaves is like nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
And so it's a lot easier to predict. Now, obviously, their market is kind of up and down right now, and but that's any real estate cycle. But small bay is kind of the next step as far as, because that's what hurts office and multifamily so much. Medical office is when those tenants turn over, the TIs and commissions can be brutal, right?
It's insane.
And so storage is the one you get away from that. Small bay, you're right there after that, as long as you keep a park under 10% office. And so but that's one of the reasons why so many cross asset people have been coming over to our stuff.
Well, like when we bought that park I'm telling you about, we're close to $15 million on the thing, and the PCA had $25,000 in CapEx.
Yeah.
That's nothing on a deal that size, which was nice, So it's very low CapEx intensive. So that's huge.
Yeah, it's just management intensive.
It is management intensive.
That's the trade off.
It's an accounts receivable type.
Yeah,
that's what.
Just managing rent roll and AR.
And we've also seen, we've talked about this before, but the leasing of it, brokers just don't give a shit about leasing that stuff.
No, you got to get a guy new on the job to do that.
Well,
that was kind of my first gig, was smaller spaces like that.
Yeah, so we just hired a guy a couple weeks ago, and it was like, hey man, he's like, hey, I really, he's been a broker for a while, I want to get to the principal side, and I said, hey man, you're gonna have to eat shit for 2 years and lease our small bay for us, because we're gonna bring this in house just so we can control it. And so we're doing that now, but that's the challenge with it. So I think you got to have a business plan for that.
Well, and that's the most successful operators too in small bay is the people that do it in house, do it themselves.
Yeah.
And so third party brokers, it's a tough product to work. You got to work it like solely, and you got to do 60, 70, 80 leases a year for it to be lucrative, and you have to like fully encompass it. And with the brokers nowadays, they're working on this over here, they're working on this deal all the way over here, they're trying to sell a piece of land all the way up here.
Yeah.
And so your 1,250 square foot space is usually
forgotten
because the problem with those is those tenants can be very they're ready to go right now. And so you almost gotta I gotta stop what I'm doing right now. I gotta show it, and then I'm probably signing that lease later that day.
No, so for us, we're putting in the parameters where he has leases signed, ready to go. He has guardrails on pricing, flooring on, quote rate and floor he can go to, negotiate the damn thing, get the tenant in the building.
Yeah, that's what you need.
Get a check from him, bring it back, done, next deal.
Yeah.
So
his first week, we kind of turned him loose. This week or late last week? he has leases in his car,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Little box printer in his trunk.
pretty much. Yeah.
Has he got them on like Facebook Marketplace and everywhere?
We're
he needs
getting
to
there.
get?
getting
Yeah.
there.
We're getting there. We've put them on there before. It's just the management. No one ever manages the inbound of it. So
Yeah.
like we have a dedicated person that's part of. We're trying to create a whole marketing process to this segment of the market so that we can own it from a digital standpoint
Yeah.
and boots on the ground standpoint.
Yeah, because dealing with the inquiries on all the stuff y'all have got could be literally a full-time job very easily.
It is.
How many did Jacob say he had inquiries on the one Wiley deal? Like 100 over the past couple
you gotta
months?
get
It was a lot.
You got to get an auto reply
Yeah.
with the contact info, so then they can just reach out direct to do a showing.
Yeah.
That's
We had an AI bot on Facebook. Remember we tried that a year ago?
Yeah, I don't really know.
I don't
what
remember
happened
what
with it.
happened, but like we tried to do some tool where if you reached out, it started like chatting with you.
Yeah.
You can do like an overlay. I'm not sure what happened with it, but
We'll fire it back up or some version of that. So,
a human
Yeah.
dude.
so we're gonna. What about like Google Ads and all that stuff? Is that something that people do? And
Yeah, it can. So, Google Ads, Google business page, I mean, those work really well in more rural areas because you got to keep in mind if you're a tenant and you're looking for space, the first thing you're going to do is Google warehouse space near me, right?
yeah,
And so if you've got Mercer's industrial warehouse complex is one of the first things that comes up, that's going to be kind of the easiest thing to do. And so that's why I always tell people, if you're running a park or you're running a leasing business on small bay stuff, you want to create that.
yeah,
Because that's going to help you get that. And then you can go on to Fiverr, and you may not need it as much because a lot of y'all's stuff's more local, but there's people on there that can help you take those, what is it called, Tran, where they can put those dots in certain locations.
geo,
Yeah,
geotags.
Yeah, they
Geotags,
can help
yeah.
you with that too. And so if you're trying to if you got a park up here, you got a park up there, but you want it all to synergize in somewhere,
Yeah.
and we use a lot of Fiverr guys. Like we got half of Fiverr working for us.
Yeah, we use a
one
lot of Upwork.
Yeah.
Same thing. So, but yeah, no, we're gonna have to. That's an initiative this quarter is kind of get the whole marketing process internally down and to go forward because we're fixing to ingest some more of this stuff. And
But yeah, having all those ads and having them all funneling to the one location, making it easier to where that person can vet each person out. Because you're going to have, depending on the quality of product, I mean, you're going to have 30% of those guys that are trash tenants
Sure.
that you don't even want to go out there and meet and show. And so
Yeah.
you got to make sure they have those qualities because that'll burn a guy out pretty easily too.
Back to what y'all were talking about, like on the development side, we've started dipping our toe into those things both on iOS and both on Small Bay. It's an interesting dynamic because like you could take a site and put Small Bay on it, and then you're just in a lease. I think it really comes down to how good your marketing is on a lease up right there to get it to stabilization.
Yeah.
Because to your point, I think you can just put more building out there and make a better return on the land versus doing a iOS site. I think it's more along the lines of can the market absorb how much you can put on there of tenant base.
Yeah, no, and that's what we do. A lot of World Engines. That's our site analysis tool, and we've got a feasibility arm as well that can help determine how much square footage the market can handle.
Yeah.
What type of product you should build, what type of amenities you should put on there, because it's not always about maximizing your square footage either. That's what a lot of people do right now is they just try to put as much square footage down there as possible. That's why you have all these parks that have like zero parking
Yeah.
because of that.
Dude,
And
it's a pain in the butt.
it's terrible. And so you lease to one body shop and now you got no spots. And so that's one of the things that we try to help people do is not just maximize buildable area, but maximize its actual potential. And so that's what I would probably say to look at is figure out what's the area missing. Is it maybe smaller units with rear side yards? What does that area actually need to kind of get you away from the competitors? Because that's the thing with Small Bay right now is there's just so many competitors that are coming in as well. And most of them are basic, efficient, metal construction, no amenities, no nothing, just simple 1,800 square foot units, 30 by 60. So
What's an amenitized place look like? What do you mean by amenities?
it's, you know, a lot of those are going to come in depending on the area and the tendency that you're trying to attract, right? So if you're going for a contractor base, like some of the best amenities are going to be, you know, 18-foot high ceilings with maybe a rear storage yard similar to the size of the space. And so we helped a guy build a park out there in Burleson. He did 1,250 square foot units with 1,000 square foot rear side yards, right? They leased, was it 40 spaces or 35 spaces in 4.5 months. And, but it's because nobody else out there had 1,250 square foot units with 1,000 square feet of rear yard space.
Yeah.
Like it didn't exist. And so it's finding those things that can tailor to it. And so if you got good frontage, maybe it's putting nice showroom glass, maybe doing mezzanine space, maybe, you know, there's a lot of little things you can do to these parks that a lot of people don't realize. And so that's what we try to help bring value to.
So it's not a gym. You're not putting a gym in.
No, I mean, you can. I mean, but you know, it's you want to tailor it to the area to get the maximum dollar amount.
Yeah, I think he was like 30-40% above market.
Yeah, he's doing good too. Yeah.
So how does the market look at like somewhere like Burleson? Is that in DFW in the market's eyes, or is that kind of out there? Because some of these parks that you got to go hunt are
They're out
in the
there.
Tersh.
Yeah.
In the turf.
Yeah,
in
the
dirt.
number one thing that we get feedback on from capital sources that are not local is, wow, there's a lot of green land around that. And you're like, okay, time out. Like, not every Jim Bob that owns 10 acres can just go do this, right? Like, there's a little bit more sophistication than just, I got dirt, I can order pre-engineered metal buildings and slap them down. But yeah, where is that?
No, and I get that. And that's a question we get a lot. And as far as Burleson goes, I mean, that one we sold that thing off market and it had a bunch of offers on it. I mean, it's considered DFW. But one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, Will, and I was actually having a conversation with somebody earlier about it, is they're looking at a park and they're like, man, there's just too much green out there. Anybody can just plop a building around out there anywhere. And I said, well, let's take a closer look to it, because I said, I actually live not far from there. And if you'll see every home, like kind of like Argyle and North, I get those areas, every home's on in those areas is on like an acre plus.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's chewing up all that land. It may look like there's a lot of greenery, but I think a lot of people from out of state aren't as used to some of the markets like that we have out here, where it's like, no, there's a lot of homes out there. They're just expensive homes on larger lots, or not just expensive homes, just homes on larger lots. Because in Parker County, you can't have a well in like Azle unless you're on 2 acres. So, and there's not a lot of public utilities out there. So all the homes are on 2 acres at least.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to keep in mind. But yeah, we run across that all the time. And I will tell you, one thing that Tran and I learned a long time ago is there's a lot of people that want to build small bay. There's very few that actually do.
Yeah, I believe that.
And because it's just harder than you think it is. It looks super simple. You can go to Mueller, get a metal building kit, and throw it on a piece of land. It's just not that simple. And what do they all run into, Tran? It seems like none of them can raise money to do it.
Yeah.
And that's a first timer's problem for anything that they're doing. Like anytime you're doing something for the first time, it's usually a raising money issue.
I mean, we would struggle with raising money for it, and we have a lot more track record, you know, but raising money for a development's not easy.
No. And so that's why we always tell people, go buy an existing park, prove it up, then it's easier to raise money off of. And you can raise money on an existing park much easier than a new construction.
We own a shitload of existing parks, and it's still hard.
Yeah. I don't think the appetite's there for development right now.
There's a lot still being done, but that's the biggest issue that people have is equity.
I guess it just that's who's doing it, like who's funding it. Are these institutions, or are these like families, or are they, you know, do you know how they're capitalizing?
A lot of the
these
one-offs are raising money from individuals.
Yeah,
100K here, 200K there from accredited people.
Yeah.
I think every like third or fourth call is usually self-storage, since they're most familiar with it.
Yeah.
So those guys are really probably going to be the next group of developers getting to it first before everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, storage guys are big into the small bay side on new construction.
A lot of them just have extra land already. So
Yeah.
they're like, let me just build separately parcel and build this and sell it.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know, man. We're going through our first development right now. We're doing an iOS site. Man, I'll tell you what, man. That ain't for the faint of heart.
No, it's not fun.
That is some bullshit.
I have no interest. We really don't have any interest in developing. Any deal we're working on right now is existing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
But we
There's
love
a-
helping them get built. That's one
Yeah.
thing that our arm
Sure,
does.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's a skill
As
set.
I just said how bad it was. I mean, if you're looking to build, no, I'm just kidding. But it's like, it's not for the faint of heart. But there is a lot of opportunity in it. I can tell you, we've seen some incredible money made on the new construction side.
The models look great. I just haven't executed one. So, we have a site we're looking at right now, but I don't think we're going to move forward. I don't think we can capitalize it. That's really the issue.
Yeah.
Is we just, I don't have the partner that has the appetite for the development.
Well, there's an equity issue, capital issue across all asset classes
course,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And so when it affects multifamily as hard as it has, it's kind of dripping to everything else.
Yeah, I got to see. You probably see a lot of guys getting out of multifamily coming to this. This is kind of the multifamily of industrial.
Investors, yeah.
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 You know what I found? I thought about this recently is all the talent in office is probably doing what we do now.
What we do?
Yeah, like iOS. I just wonder if there's so much pent up capital and talent. Because remember, office is like when it's booming, the big buildings and stuff, the liquidity flows are so immense and the transactions are so large and like just complicated. It takes a lot of talent and a lot of capital.
Yeah.
Well, those things are like that market's, I guess the word is vapid. It's just nothing really going on. Right. So now everyone's like, well, I got to do something with my time. And pension funds are like, I got to allocate money. And so that trickles down where it's like office and multi are just kind of shaky right now. And so you're just seeing a lot of talent and capital flows to the small bay.
Yeah.
Storage had a blip there for a bit, and now it's kind of coming back. It looks like we don't know a ton about it. And then iOS, I mean, the pressure is acute. It's like very like whoa, but I still think there's tons of room in small bay.
Well, because, you got so much area to build it in. You
Yeah.
got so many economies and cities and metros that just keep expanding outward. And as more and more residential gets put in, I mean, those are just necessary. And then also people are starting to get away with making them a little nicer and higher end and essentially leasing them to smaller retail style tenants too, and kind of getting away from the more expensive retail builds. And so I think that's where the opportunity is, just the many different options that it has.
A little upgrade in building quality.
Yeah, condos, car garages, whatever you want to do. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities in there.
Yeah.
What y'all have always kind of worked all over, but like what markets are y'all working in right now?
I mean, for brokerage.
Yeah.
So brokerage, I mean, we're working all across Texas. We've always done a lot in Texas.
Yeah.
We're doing stuff. I was telling him how excited I was telling Tran how excited we are because we're selling some stuff in Tennessee right now,
Oh, that's
selling
cool.
some stuff in Florida and Georgia, and so it's really cool to really stretch our legs out into some other markets. We were actually really close to doing something in California not long ago, and so I think that we're going to be seen in a lot of more areas all across. We've just continued to create a really cool platform for more and more buyers and private equity to access, and just giving us, kind of that handle and edge that we need to expand more.
Yeah, no, that's cool. We try to only, we've looked at going to other markets. We own Small Bay in San Antonio, Buda here. We did own in Marble Falls.
Yeah.
You sold that for us. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That was a good exit. I think we just need to get out of that town. I don't think they liked us.
You know what's funny though? We drove through that town not long ago.
Very busy.
Was that
Oh,
town?
yeah.
That was
crazy.
Like
it was
Rockwall.
traffic jam central.
Yeah,
out there.
that main road it's nuts.
Yeah.
And but that's a good thing to talk about, right? Like that park. The story behind that is we bought a brother and sister family had created this little mini real estate empire in Marble Falls. Sister hates the brother. We buy the property off the sister because she won't sell it to her brother. But her brother's got a lower basis in it and is undercutting rents all day long. So I'm having to hit pro forma, and he just hitting occupancy.
Yeah.
So like, how do you what do you do to navigate that? You just gotta fight through it and hope it works.
That's
or
the small town. That's the Temple, Texas, and
Yeah.
small towns for you.
I think you've got some supply that hasn't been delivered out there too. So there's a group that built, I think, 2 new parks just north of you up there.
Another one south too.
Yeah. And so I still think you can still hit your pro formas. You just got to see when was the last time new supply was delivered.
Yeah.
And then you got to check, okay, what's the number of businesses in this area? And then go off of leasing velocity as well in the last 12, 24, 36 months.
But if you're competing with somebody that is just playing the lowest rental rate in the business, kind of what you referred to, I mean, that's when you need to try to find a way to differentiate yourself and your product a little bit. And so that's why I say if you've got the exact same thing as the competitor, that's where you'll run into some issues. And so that's why we say on new construction, that's why those amenities and stuff are so key to kind of do, because, you'll run into that. I mean, we've run into that in Temple. We've run into that into a lot of smaller markets where there's somebody that owns more than most out there and just keeps the rents low.
Yeah. No, it's a real thing. But I mean, that's also the story too of what you're buying sometimes, is finding that guy that's kept the rents low forever, never raised them, and then you...
Yeah, but that's why you got to really research the area to make sure that if I come in and buy this deal, that it's not an area issue that's keeping the rents down, or a specific owner with most of the product keeping the rents down, because that even happens out here, I mean, and so it's very important to understand, especially in smaller markets like that, because that happens in Oklahoma, that happens in all over the place. There's always that one owner that's got like half the product out there and keeping it low.
That kind of happened in Marble.
That's what he was just talking about when you were in the restroom.
Yeah, sorry,
that was the beginning of the story. So I was like, how do you navigate those things?
Yeah.
Because we had a great outcome there, but I don't know that we necessarily took that into consideration when we bought that thing.
We got such a great basis play that we had so much in reserve.
Yeah.
I think I just beat the pulp out of it, which is what I classically do. But we didn't really take that into effect. But the thing is like all the competing options that were not owned by that family were all double-digit rents.
Yeah. That's how they're saying that they're delivered a couple developments just north of us where we were there.
Yeah.
So, which that area is a tough area to develop in because of the topography there.
Yep. Yeah.
So Flex Parks, what are y'all getting to do there that you weren't doing previously at?
Well, and it's not so much, I don't want to say like we were being held back or anything of that nature, but it allows these guys to operate a little bit more freely, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If they want to maybe throw their money into a deal or something like that, get creative with something, they've got the ability to do that. They don't have to ask for it. They can just do it. It's their money. They can do whatever they want.
Right.
And so you've got that right up front. And then as far as expanding into the development side and things of that nature, that's something that they can take on with strategic partners, which we do have, all across the U.S., some really good builders that we work with. And so we can do strategic partnerships with those guys to help them get business and, help offer, best pricing for anybody looking to build a park. And so it's really just expanding beyond and feeling that, I think what is a really good thing, and I've seen it, already from, the guys in the offices, you can tell what they're building. They feel a little bit more pride of ownership.
Yeah.
And that's really it. I mean, I don't really have any, I don't have any, bad things to say, Ariel will, about Colliers. I was at Mark's Mill Chat before that and Sperry Van Ness before that. I mean, you're always growing and learning, and we went over there for a specific reason, and, we enjoyed our time there. And, but, after maturing long enough and creating enough value for people, I felt that this is something we could take on the road and really, really exploit quite a bit.
Yeah. No.
Is that a good political answer for you?
Yeah, it's very, very politically correct. You won't get sued for that. So.
Well, I think also geography-wise, you can go national. I'm sure when you're at a bigger firm, like if you go to
It's
Kansas
tougher.
City,
Yeah,
it's tough to
Yeah.
I mean, relationship, we said that relationship trumps everything. And I think that's something that Mercer Company, you guys always live by. But like, I'm sure there's friction where it's like, hey, we work with, Acme Corp and they own 1 million feet here and they own 1 million feet in Kansas City. Well, we have the 1 million feet that we've helped them lease and sell in Dallas, and we want to do that in Kansas City. A Colliers guy or CB guy in another office would probably have an issue. That probably can become some friction.
Oh yeah, and what's actually funny is we've got a really good way of analyzing sites to determine how well it works for small bay, and the metrics, and we've got a really good formula down for that. And what's funny is we kind of we started doing more and more of that, and we actually had Colliers agents in other markets reaching out to us like, hey, we can't find this stuff that y'all use. How do we do it? And it's like, no, like that's what we do here.
Yeah, it's proprietary.
And so that was one thing that kind of told me, hey, we're really onto something here with this, trying to analyze sites and things of that nature. And so we wanted to keep beefing that up and make that into something, really big that people can use. But yeah, that's how all big firms are, though. Even when I was with Sperry Van Ness a long time ago, I mean, if you went and did something in another market and, they found out, they were all up in arms and, that's our area. You can't be coming out here, hanging out.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't think we really had too many issues on that front. Sometimes in brokerage, it's easier to ask for forgiveness.
Sure.
Later, usually when a firm gets a check, they're kind of like, all right, you know what, that's all right. Just
that worked out okay. We'll accept that.
Do it again, all right?
Yeah, result was that Mercer Company says results remain supreme.
That's right. Yeah, and so I learned that at David Dunn's office a long time ago. Is if you did something that he felt was in his area or something of that nature, he could scold you for it, but when he got the check, he's like, that's all right. All right, we'll make this a one-time thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So just show up with a signed lease and a check.
That's right.
Hey, I did this.
And
Sorry.
He's cool. Yeah.
So, so tell me more about y'all services. So, like, if we found a site, I could come to y'all and be like, "Hey, we think this site works. We want to engage y'all to help us."
All right, Tran, hit him up with the World Engine spill. The one that you practice in the mirror every morning.
Yeah, that one. So essentially, it's more if you have like 3 sites, actually. So
Okay.
No, we don't have to send too many sites.
I know,
So this is for only really, really rich people. Okay.
But I think it's
That's the
more,
platinum plan that he's talking about.
Yeah. Let me get there. But no, if you've got like 2 or 3 sites and you're like, I don't know which one, our basis is X, this is what we can get this one for, and just send us both. And then we can kind of take a deep dive into it where we'll get you leasing projection, projected rate, projected lease up time, what to kind of build based on the demographics. And the way that we measure that is based off of our lowest cap rate sales, highest price per square foot. And then we've got our baseline for our lowest price per square foot, highest cap rate sales. So we've got 2 demographics we're working off of and a middle ground. And that's how we're helping you figure out that rate. But also there's some factors that go into that, which is like, okay, how much square footage is here? How many businesses are here? What's your, annual income in the area?
How much people are spending?
Yeah,
There's a lot of blue collar jobs. There's a lot of things that you look at in these analysis reports that we have broken down, and so it'll give you a good idea on, hey, look into it further if you want to. And then we've got our feasibility arm that can really give you a good 50, 70 page, book on really detailed stuff that people go use that to. They'll give that to their lender, help them get a loan. They'll use that to raise money. It's like, hey, it's not just us. There's a third-party company that looked at it that has no skin in the game. And so, but that World Engine analysis is very good and very popular. And we do it for free. We should have never done that because, once you start offering something for free, it never turns back. But
you just gave it away for free again. You should have said, we charge for this.
We charge. Well, we don't, but we always tell people if you're going to use it, you need to use us to sell.
Yeah.
And so that's really the only charge.
Yeah, but I think the main thing it really helps is like we've seen owners build in the same area, but overbuild a project and sell for the same price per square foot as if they just did the $100 build versus their $150 build.
Yeah.
And they still sold for, $190 or whatever, right? But you could have just saved and made that spread on the $100 build.
What about existing parks? Like, can y'all come in and analyze those too? Saying, hey, I think I'm going to get these kind of numbers on rents. gut check me on that, or
Yeah. So what you'll get in that is you'll get good absorption stuff. You'll get good transaction history, things of that nature. What the detailed reports on that will really help you out is with the actual competition and where those guys are, where they've been, where they're headed. And so it kind of gives you that understanding. So like I said, it would have been great for like a Marble Falls or something where you're like,
Sure.
we got these guys that are doing really good on newer rents, but older product is still stagnant. Why is it? How much has it changed over the years? If we have that data, then it can be provided. And so we've got a really good staff that helps cultivate that stuff.
I've got a project I kind of want to test.
Yeah.
I might want to dip back to the Marble area.
Oh no,
Let's go back.
get a residence.
No, send it over.
Get a Marble address.
Yeah, send it over. We'll take a look at it, give you
Okay.
the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
So is this something y'all internally developed?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you got a bunch of dudes at Fiverr just back there cranking data all day long?
Well, we got a lot of Fiverr guys just doing random stuff,
Yeah.
but no, some of it's in house actually too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's great.
Yeah, I think with this also, like, it's really helped with the people who are developing now. We're starting to finally see these come into fruition too, whereas like these 2 years ago, we were just now looking at the site and the guy's like, hey, I don't know. And then he ends up building, 2 of the 4, and
now we've got and what's funny is now we've got all these great success stories too of parks that we helped analyze 2 years ago. They leased and we have successfully sold, and I mean we've got several of these that just keep coming up, and so it's fantastic to see people put work to the ground and get these things built and leased and moved on down the road.
Yeah.
Even some where people are like, hey, can I convert these modified gross leases, even though it's like close to top of market? Like, what's my threshold if I convert these guys to nets? And then actually when I buy it and taxes adjust, like, what are my numbers and what are these guys paying in a difference when we do put them on triple net leases too?
Is that still the common theme, is to get everybody to a triple net lease? And
Most value for your sale.
yeah.
Easier said than done.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it's a fight for sure.
Yeah.
Certain
Certain areas are, other areas aren't. If it's if it's mostly all blue collar businesses, maybe low income businesses that you're dealing with, they're going to be a little harder to full triple net.
Yeah.
But also it's going to depend on your leasing agent too.
Yeah.
If they can't communicate that properly, which is a big thing that we see all the time, especially self-owner stuff. I mean, I can't tell you how many parks we've sold where we're like, how come you're not on triple net? He's like, I can't explain that shit. Like,
Yeah.
and so it's really a communication thing, because if it's not communicated properly, it can sound like, we don't know how much your bill is going to be, Mr. Tenant.
Yeah.
And, they got a lot of these guys want to know what it is and what it can cap out to and where the threshold is within that, because, they're just running a business. They're not here to figure out what their rent could or could not be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've used the example of like, someone that maybe like uses materials. It's like, hey, this is kind of like raw material pricing. Like, you know what it is today, but it changes, and when it does, you have to pass that along into the price of the unit. Or, sometimes if you're trying to explain like a base year, if it's a modified gross or something like that, you can just say, we are basing the price off what we know today. And if there's a change, we're going to bill you for it. We're not going to give you a refund, though. That's the one thing, though, when most of those modified gross leases, they're always like, I want a gross lease. It's like, okay, cool, but you do realize if it goes down, you usually don't get a refund in those deals.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen anybody give any tenants refunds for base years.
I think we paid one back. Well, not on base years, but on triple nets, we cut some checks last year, I think, on some stuff we saved some money on.
Yeah. Maybe
Which
you've done that, but I've never seen it on the
I'm
base
cool with that, because I think in the small bay space, you actually end up, it's like getting a tax refund. You're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
my landlord cut me a check. Wouldn't that happen before? And they're like, look, Susan, and they run in the office. And I think it's a better feeling than getting an extra months of rent to pay, right? They don't understand that. They're like, wait, I paid you 12 times. Why is this this looks almost the same as another month's worth of rent. That's it's
Yeah.
complicated. That's a hard conversation.
It is. That's why I say it's mostly communication and make sure they can communicate it and stand firm on it.
Yeah.
And so,
I've always thought about, I probably need to just create a video for it explaining it, and we could share the video with them when we send them the bill. Like, hey, here's how, or hey, watch this when you sign the lease. And then watch it again when you get your bill, and remember that you watched this before.
But you didn't read your lease.
yeah. So you'll need to start it like that, like you working out or something. And be like, oh, hey, how are you doing today? Jeremy Mercer, you obviously didn't read your lease. That's why you strolled over to this video.
We should have him do the video.
That'd be awesome.
You can do that, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd make something like that for you if you wanted.
That actually would be hilarious. You know?
You're wondering why you're here.
What, you know, I guess stuff that's probably kept larger capital groups away from it for a long time is they all whine about credit.
Yeah.
And I don't really. I mean,
Look, if they're dealing with me, they're already dealing with no credit. So they really can't. They really don't have much room to talk. But I think the credit C thing is not as important as it used to be.
yeah. I don't
You know, it's really not. It just is if you're going to be doing a lot of finish out.
Yeah. Which is never, they don't ever want you to do anything because they're afraid it's just going to cost them more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, keeping spaces 10% or less office keeps you in the green.
But
What about rent collection though? Like, how do you treat these tenants?
What do you mean? How do you treat them?
Well, I mean,
Like a
like,
human?
do you? Well,
Yes.
maybe.
What?
I guess it depends if they treat you like a human. 'Cause
Fair.
sometimes they don't.
No, I mean,
But like, you know, are you pretty hard line with these people? Like, you know, hey, by this date you're defaulted. You know, we're locking out at this point, or like,
I think you have to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's a business, and everybody if they've run a business, they understand a business, and you don't get
Yeah.
paid, you don't work, and so that's
Yeah.
just how it is. I don't think we really run into a lot of rent collection issues from any projects.
Not around here, but out tertiary markets, they
Yeah.
have a lot of sweetheart deals with the owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see that. But really, the only time I ever see rent issues is we see it every now and then when a building sells. There's always one of those tenants that gets a little cute, and it's like, oh, I paid the previous owner, and it's like, you didn't. So now we got to get the previous owner and this guy, and
That's what happened to us on Marble Falls.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
that happens, and tenants will get cute every now and then, and
Well, and I don't remember the exact details, but I told the guy, I called the seller. I said, hey, he got all up in arms over like $700 or something, right? And
call it, 500 or $700.
I was like, hey, man, look, I can call and collect this, but like, you know, it's going to be weird because I don't own the building anymore because he wanted me to collect it and pay him for it. And I was like, why don't you just go collect it? And like, I'll back you up. He goes, no, this is your problem. I go, okay, cool. Well, then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. If your tenant doesn't pay me, I'm going to send them to collections. So like, you're going to start this relationship off bad. He goes, what do you say? He sent us, the tenant sent us an email back, said, send me to collection, kick rocks.
But you know what? He paid.
He
Did he? Yeah.
He paid the full dollar for 100% of every dollar.
they usually do. They just got to get that energy out.
Yeah.
Send me to collections. If my Camry's there, send it back too. You know, yeah.
But yeah, it's I think it's all just discipline with the AR and rent collection.
Yeah.
So,
But that's the only time we run into is on a sale. There's always that one tenant every now and then that's he's real smart. He's real clever.
They love to dig in. I had a tenant on an estoppel. I guess this was maybe Small Bay at the time, but this was Motor Circle when I sold Motor Circle, and he's like, y'all were supposed to HVAC the space. I go, well, we did. He goes, well, it's not enough HVAC. So I pull the lease out, and I go, it says, we're going to put this many tons in. He goes, yeah. I go, did we do that? And he goes, yeah. I go, is that your signature? He goes, yeah. I go, I think we're good. He's like, no, we're not good. I was like, okay. So I took him a check for $2,500. I said, if you sign this estoppel, I will give you this check. And he's like, can't do it. I go,
Oh,
this
nice.
check walks out of here with me, and I do have the right to sign your estoppel for you. So I left. He sends over his estoppel all marked up. I just threw it in the trash and signed it and sent it to the buyer. So
These past 2-3 stories you just gave me How many of these guys talk to you like this, knowing that you train jujitsu?
Do you go crawling in there?
No, I don't.
No,
Not anymore.
like on all fours. Like, hey, I'm ready.
No, it'd be more like a crab walk.
That's what I'm saying.
I like to start guard. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to go straight to turtle. I don't want to give him my back.
Yeah.
So, no, I'd love to. I mean, I would fight tenants if they wanted to. You know,
I'm looking to throw down over
if
here.
if they want to, work some rent off, we could fight.
Yeah.
You know,
You could tap me out.
yeah,
Then you get a free month's rent.
yeah. If you can tap me, you get a free month's rent. So,
Yeah, I watch you go to the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu school in one of the buildings. They just earned a year of free rent.
y'all don't count. No, I try to stay out of that. I try not to let any tenant get my phone number because they just circumvent everyone and call me constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get super entrenched emotionally,
Yeah,
and you're like, "Ugh," and it's just
well, I'm very decisive. too.
Yeah,
like I make
it's like-
really quick decisions. So like when I got someone irritating me like that, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna handle it, and then I just make a bad decision, right? Where I need to let my team vet it out and
yeah.
bring it to me. So that's
There's a whole process here. When he does that, it usually gets done, whether it's for better or for worse. Like
yeah, it'll get
whatever.
done. I just don't know what the outcome's gonna look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was pushed down the hill and it got to the bottom hill before we even knew about it. And you're like, okay, it's done.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
It's a good way to do it.
there's value in that though.
Yeah, it gets it done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of the times though, I don't feel like you.
That's what Bill Parcells always says. He, he's the old coach for the Cowboys, famous NFL coach. He always said he liked confrontation because it took care of the problem, good, better, and different, pretty quickly.
Yeah. I agree
I
with
think
that.
dealing with confrontation is head on is the way to be. Like, just come on.
Yeah, that's what I do.
What's your problem?
Yeah,
Like, a lot of the times it's in the lease document we signed, and you just don't want to adhere to it. Like,
well, because they don't read it half the time.
Um,
In Small Bay,
I had
they don't.
back to Motor Circle. This was back during the great financial crisis. I had a tenant come to us for a rent reduction, which a lot of that happened during that time.
Yeah.
because the world was in hell. We're like, hey man, we hear you. Just shoot us a copy of your financials, and we'll take this into real consideration. He's like, how dare you ask me for my financials? And I was like, you just asked us for a rent reduction. And he goes, I go, well, I have the right to ask for your financials per the lease. And he goes, had I known that, I would have never signed this lease. I was like, okay.
And now you're like, now I want those financials.
Yeah, so now give them to me. And
And you see them year over year just getting better and better.
yeah, they were fine. He did not need a rent reduction.
Yeah.
I still gave him one though after he I'm sure we got no favor for that though either. So
I remember, I was leasing back then, and I started in 2005, and 2008 is kind of when the market crashed, and I was leasing some really trashy retail centers out there in Euless and Hearst and whatnot. And I remember there was a little dollar store, like off-brand, kind of, everything is like everything's $1.
yeah.
And I remember I was going to him with a renewal, and it was like $5,000 a month. It was like, and he had a pretty good sized space, and he was just like flipping out. He's like, "Hey, do you know how many items I got to sell here to make that?" And I was like, "Probably 5,000." I guess. And then he like blew up on me. But I was like, "That's just simple math, And so, but I remember
Everything's $1. I don't know.
I just remember back then, like that was, everybody, what you're saying is like everybody was looking for some money off and whatnot. And granted, as they should. And, healthcare companies were, flying out of buildings left and right. And, but in that time I had started, that's when I really kind of segmented a little bit of footprint and niche because so many people were leaving the industry at that time. And so I was able to get a few listings in the mid cities and then call the neighbors next door and just really expand in a market that a few people had just left because the business just wasn't that good and they just went to another asset class or just left completely.
Yeah.
And so that's where I made my real big kind of push into into the business was through that.
Yeah, no, I had one group. This was during COVID, like 2 days after they shut the country down. Tenant emailed me. This is a building me and Romy at Cantex owned, and we did a sale lease back with this guy. He emails me. He goes, "Hey, I need a break on the rent. You know, these trying times." And I was just like, "It's been 2 days." It's been 2 days.
He
man.
folds under pressure
Yeah,
real fast.
I was like, "Come on, bro." No, it's but yeah, no, it's those times weeded out a lot of people, and that was I think times right now are going to weed out a lot of people.
No, it has been. I mean, we've been able to break into other markets and continue our expansion pretty easily, in my opinion, than it would have been, 6-7 years ago.
On that note, did you see the bounce back from Bella yesterday on our email blast?
Oh yeah,
So that list, I looked through it,
it was all brokers.
is all mostly brokers, not in the business anymore.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Tran did a mass email blast a while back ago on our broker list, and I mean I don't know how many bounced or came
It
back,
jacked up
but
our email system.
yeah,
essentially.
it was just so many that were like, "Hey, not in the business, or moved, or contact me here, or undeliverable, or
yeah.
I think there was like 60 on the list, and 10% had moved to like another shop.
yeah."
The only one I knew, I was like, oh, he was just. This is weird with Ben Wallace. He was still at Colliers. I don't know why I bounced, but like everybody else, the majority of the people were. I was like, oh, I forgot about him. Well,
Yeah.
we don't. He's not here anymore.
That's the business, and
The Departed.
agents don't really stay at firms, as long as they used to either. Back when I got started, people were at firms for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Now they're barely getting 3 and 5 out of these guys.
Well, I mean, you got a lot of guys that started right after COVID, and it was like you could kind of have a pulse and lease a building or sell a building, and now it's like you got to work for it. So,
Well, and I also feel that, when I first got in the business, being at a big firm was like, where you wanted to be.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I interviewed at Stream, I interviewed at other firms, like nobody would hire me back then. But that's where you wanted to be. And it just seems like now there's just so many independent firms everywhere. Business has changed a little bit. Social media has obviously influenced that quite a bit.
yeah.
And certain clients aren't as keen on they're not as big on like, oh, we got to go with the CV, we got to go with the Colliers guy, we got to go with the JLO. Like, it's not as much on that. And so that was one of the other reasons why we decided, hey, this is a good time to do this, because we think this is where the industry is headed. It doesn't have to be big brokerage shops, because nobody's with us because we're with XYZ. They're with us because of what we do, what our specialty is, our collaborative nature. I mean, we're a fun group to deal with too. I mean, I think y'all realize that. I always tell people we're like a casino. Like, you're gonna have a really good time dealing with us. Whatever the outcome is, that's on you.
That was your job to make sure it got
You
done.
lose money or make money, I'm gonna leave that on you. But you're gonna have a really good time when you're dealing with us, and so we make sure that it's a good, fun transaction.
I think too. I don't disagree with you. I think the having to flee to a bigger shop now for like a client, I think that's probably rebate driven now, because all those people now, like if you're going to try to go do like a MSA with somebody on however many sites they have, I mean they're like, okay, and by the way, like you're going to give us 50% of the fee, right? Like,
and they're okay with that.
Yeah.
They're so used to not hunting anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I did like one Collier's mentorship program, and I was like, you just wait for these things to come to you. Like, you're not calling around. I was like, why am I doing this? That's not what I do.
Isn't that a Trek violation?
What?
Giving a referral fee to someone that doesn't have a license?
No, this was another agent.
No, but I'm talking in generalities. Like,
in
on a
general.
master service agreement, they're like, hey, we want half the fee, but you're not licensed. I don't know if I can share the fee with you.
I think you're right. And also, even if they are licensed in another state, doesn't mean that they're able to take that money
in that
from
state
doing
either.
business in this state or that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, things are really awkward on that because, Oklahoma or, those are all physical location states. And so they're real kind of tough on their rules and regs. And so I think you're right. But I'm not going to sit here and report people to Trek. I think they got bigger fish to fry in the residential sector. Then hey, this guy made some money out here. Like it's not as important to them.
Right.
Not a tattletale. I grew up in Grand Prairie, so
South Irving, we're close.
yeah. Y'all were South. Well, I mean South Irving. I mean, if you dated a girl, if you were in Grand Prairie, like where I was at, and you dated a girl in South Irving, it's like this girl's got some money.
This is a little upgrade.
Yeah, I bet there's no Bondo on her dad's car. It's nice.
Well, if you could get north of 183, man, you're on your way.
Oh, yeah.
So.
LD Bell.
LD Bell, yeah.
That was the upgrade for you. Where did you grow up?
Well, I guess it's now Fort Worth, but I went to Fossil Ridge, which is
Keller Fossil Ridge.
Yeah, the hood of the KISD schools.
Oh, okay. But that's a newer school, right?
No, my sister, who's like 9 years older than me, she's 45 now.
Okay.
She went there. Yeah.
I thought the Kangaroos were the only school there for a while. Is it Keller? No, that's
Keller Indians.
Keller Indians. That's right.
And then Central High School, the Chargers, and then Fossil Ridge Panthers.
I'm thinking Weatherford. Weatherford's the Kangaroos.
Yeah. His part of town.
Yeah.
Out west.
No, so LD Bell was the upgrade, huh?
That's where all the smart kids were, I guess. Yes, and then Keller too. But we were just never good enough, too far away from each other.
Yeah, we always thought if we could date a girl from MacArthur, it was like, legit.
MacArthur,
Las Colinas.
Yeah.
You're gonna get on that side. You're gonna go past Northgate. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was So we were looking at all the other schools as better.
Yeah. Well, what do y'all see for the horizon this year on this stuff?
We're excited. I mean, we've got stuff that we're working on all across the country. I think we're going to continue to expand on that, continue to help people get this product built and ran properly and efficiently, and just continue to go on the road with our message and what we envision for the asset class. And so, I mean, I think it's got a good 5-10 year runway because of as long as our whatever economy in whatever state continues to do good, whatever market continues to expand outward. I mean, this is an asset class that people want to do and want to be in. And I mean, you will see oversaturation in some areas. I mean, you already have that, but that's any asset class, regardless.
Sure.
And so, but I think it's got a really long ball field to go, and it's not a new asset class, but it's being treated like a new asset class.
Well, I think I'd say at the beginning of last year I was pretty down on it. I go through these emotional waves.
Yeah, but in your defense, we buy real estate typically on stories and bases.
Yeah.
And we had seen a lot of people move into the space that were just going kind of crazy. Like the storage bros and the multifamily guys just kind of like came in. And so I think we didn't see for probably 18 months plus like a good story.
No. But we've seen some good ones here lately.
And operationally, I think we were tired.
Yeah.
We were tired. Like it was a lot. We bought Plano Road, Seagoville. Marble was a drag, even though it wasn't a huge project.
Yeah.
Buda. Now, those were all great stories, but there was a lot of lift, either construction or rent roll, and like it just took a lot of energy out of us.
It does. I think the mentality shift of it now though is like we need to really run those kind of assets like a true operating business.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Yeah. It's what it is.
They're organisms.
Yeah.
So,
and that's how storage is ran. Storage is ran as like, hey, this is a business that needs attention, needs operations.
Yeah. And it's, you could buy a new park and it's like buying a whole nother business,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of mindset I've gone into it with now, which was like, they're like, him and Dylan were like, hey, we want to buy some more small bay. I was like, okay, first thing we got to settle is leasing because I feel like I've just never,
Yeah.
But we solved that.
we solved that, and so we'll develop that internal process. We'll further develop that internal process. And then, we sent a lot of our management to Ford on that stuff, which they're
pretty good.
They did a pretty good job with it. So, so we want to focus on just backfilling spaces and running the asset. So
Yeah, no, I think y'all have got it down right. You're on the right track now. But yeah, when you're too scattered with it and you're relying on third-party agents to get this or that done, that's where you're going to see a lot of lag. But when you bring it in-house and start to create like not a portal, but you start to create something where, all these tenants in the area kind of know and understand, hey, Matador Business Parks, offers whatever space in these markets. Like when you start creating that, you'll start to see a lot better synergy and start building wait lists and things of that nature, which is when you'll really start to, I think, reap the benefits of this stuff. But yeah, I always hate saying that because, we have leasing agents that work, that are on our team, and we refer stuff out to a lot of leasing agents. But what do I always tell people? Like, it's the worst thing. Like, I'm so blatant about it. I'm like, I would never hire a leasing agent. Like, I'm like, you do it yourself.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, and then when I say that, it's not like, hey, you physically go out and do it. Like, no, you need to have. It's almost like an on-site manager or something.
Yeah.
You need to have that if you want it to run it at its most optimal level, and it's no different than storage and multifamily.
yeah, no, totally.
Those run at their best whenever they're in house.
Yep, totally.
So,
well, guys, anything else?
no, I appreciate you letting us come back on, though.
Yeah.
It's good to come out here and see you guys and see what y'all are up to. And we had barbecue with Narduzzi the other week, so you missed out.
I'd like to shout them out.
Okay, shout them.
We did sell something with them. It was great. We had a lot of fun. The result was actually fantastic for us. So would recommend them. Just that's a plug.
No, I appreciate that. We always say, like your favorite pizza joint, we always deliver. So that's what we want to do in life. And
well, you did a good
we
job
enjoy doing it.
calming me. I get very heated in those things, and we had a couple bumps in the road in that deal. And but
what deal doesn't though?
no, they all do.
all
But
do.
like,
That one was minimal.
It
No.
was really
We deal with
good.
way worse than that.
Yeah.
That was nothing.
totally.
But
I'm just saying that, like, I thought you did a great job of brokering me through it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, you're easy. You're an easy sell. So.
yeah.
Well, I'll say I think we were in title in 7 days at 97% or 95% list price.
You had quite a few offers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it was great. So we look at it now too as when we're evaluating new stuff, we go to them to talk about what is the business plan kind of look like from a lease up feasibility. We haven't run through a whole feasibility exam. But then the one thing I think you and I have connected on over the last like 12-ish months is what's the exit look like? So they're great. We haven't done anything outside Texas, but I totally recommend Michael and Cody on their team. So
all right. Well, I appreciate it. I was actually giving Tran the lesson on the Carlton Sheets that I talked about a long time ago.
That's right. That's right.
That was the original OG influencer.
yeah.
Not on social media, but on the TV.
Oh yeah.
And my dad had the tape. Remember, I took a photo of it and sent it to you. I
Yeah.
found it in their attic when I was cleaning their house out.
Yep.
And we used to listen to that in the car all the time, the Carlton Sheets tape deck. I don't think you can buy no money down residential flips anymore like he was preaching back in the early 90s. But,
No, I think GFC kind of wiped a lot of that stuff out.
I was going to ask you, was Carlton Sheets the creator of it, or was he just like the spokesman that they had?
That's a good question. I feel like he was the creator of it. I
Was
think he
it?
owned
Okay.
a bunch of real estate and then just said, I'll go sell the course. So
The original course, man.
that's right. That's right.
And that's another thing that people are coming into this asset class
yeah.
for, doing left and right.
Oh,
is
they're all doing
teaching
courses.
Yeah, just
on
like
it.
multifamily. Multifamily's like the notorious one for that, where like everybody's teaching a course. Like if you have a duplex, you can teach a course on 100 unit
Yeah.
sales. And so,
Yeah.
this one's starting to see that too. So
I've seen some of those like real estate groups, and like I walk in there, I'm like, "Wait, you're the head guy? Okay, I don't want to learn from you."
I don't want to be here.
Yeah. So, well, guys, thanks for coming
Yeah,
on,
thank
man.
you.
That was
Thank
good
you very
info.
much.
So,
Anytime.
see ya.
See you.